Hi guys, La175 here, aka Shanna, and I'm here with another webcam report from yours truly. So good to say that after the last 4 months of my hiatus. So, during my hiatus, I've been writing down lots of stories that has been happening on that time. But there was so much, I decided to pick the stories that were talking about over the media and on the news and websites too. So, without further ado, I'm gonna get started on the big news that's been happening. In Washington, D.C., which is this nation's capital, people from all around are getting ready for the biggest celebration of the year, Inauguration Day. This day is honor of President Obama after he was re-elected to be president. Everyone must make sure that everything was perfect for that special day. The American flags are hung at each building, the streets are neat and tidy, and the security and armed forces are on duty to make sure that the president is safe along the way. Since the big celebration never falls on a Sunday, the president and vice president had their first swearing in private. The next day was the big celebration. In the morning, the first family started their day by going to church for a prayer service before going back to the White House to have breakfast. Soon, the president went to the Capitol where the big celebration takes place. Around 10 minutes before noon, the president was officially sworn in front of the entire world. Then he made his inaugural speech. He talks about peace and unity for all walks of life, and that other stuff I don't remember. After a couple of performances, including Beyonce's famous lip sync of the Star and Spangled Banner, which I have to talk about later, the president went to the inaugural luncheon, but before he left the West Hall, he turned around and looked at the crowd one last time. At the luncheon, he had everything from lobster to molten fudge lava cake and ice cream. Then they have a toast to the president before heading out to the parade. Everyone cheered as they saw him and the First Lady walk a mile behind the motorcade. The troop marched on as the motorcade slowly made its way to the review booth to meet their daughters there. At the review booth, the first family watched as the parade where there's lots of dancing and floats. At the inaugural ball, the president and first lady danced the night away. The vice president and his first lady danced the night away as well. They danced and they danced and they danced and they danced until Mrs. Obama's matching red shoes worn out. The president will never forget this day, for this day was the best he had ever seen. And that's a good thing. After a whole season of Sunday football and a whole season of Sunday night primetime being shifted to a later time, it's time for Super Bowl night. The game takes place at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in Louisiana. Sorry. Says Los Angeles, but it's the abbreviation for Louisiana as well. I better know my geography. Everyone had a party before the big game. They went inside the Superdome where the seats are filled quickly, in about 35 minutes. At night, the battle has begun between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers. The Ravens shift to the left field while the 49ers shift to the right. There were lots of tackles, touchdowns, and personal fouls involved. At halftime, Beyonce, who lip-synced at the inauguration because she had to practice for that performance, blew the stage away and even had a Destiny's Child reunion. As soon as the game starts again, there was a power outage at the Superdome. They had been left in the dark for 35 minutes as the technicians worked quickly to get the lights back on. But in the end, the Baltimore Ravens won the Super Bowl and the Vince Lombardi Trophy to display it back home in Baltimore. Pope Benedict XVI, the Rock of Jesus and the Prince of Faith for all who needs it, has decided he resigning his position as Pope. His announcement that morning on February 11th shocked the whole world. Travelers and pilgrims, people who travel learning more about faith, sorry if I stutter a lot, always come to the Vatican Square to see the Pope, and the Pope came to bless them. He even traveled to faraway places from time to time, especially to the countries who don't know anything about Jesus. His reason for his reassignment is that his health is starting to deteriorate, and some other stuff that's happening behind closed doors. During his last days as Pope, he delivered his final blessing throughout the world, as everyone thanked him for his defection, and held a candlelight vigil to show support. Then, he boarded a helicopter all the way to his temporary home while renovations are being done in his new home. After Pope Benedict XVI left Vatican City, the election for the new Pope takes place. It starts out with a blessing and a prayer to the Cardinals of Rome, then made its way to the Sistine Chapel, where they were sworn in secrecy before voting behind closed doors. They have to vote up to 4 times a day, and their ballots will be burned in the chimney. Black smoke means they have not made a decision yet, and white smoke means they have found a new Pope. On the first day, there was black smoke, and people were disappointed. But on the second day, there was white smoke. Everyone cried out, "Hey, bow papa!" which means we have a Pope. After anticipated hours or so, everyone saw the new Pope. He goes by the name Pope Francis I. He prayed for all the people in the world, did his first papal service, did an Easter service, and he was a role model to everyone, which involved taking the bus back and forth to work every day. In Boston, Mass., people from near, far, and around the world participate in a marathon for children and families in Newtown, Connecticut after the Sandy Hook massacre that has left the whole town in complete devastation. They were to run 25 miles, which is the same number for the children and teachers, all the way up to the finish line. But as they were crossing the finish line, there was a big explosion. All the people and spectators were severely injured by the blast, and law officials, even ordinary people, came to the rescue. They were taken to the hospital with moderate to severe injuries, and 3 people were killed, including an 8-year-old boy. The mayor of Boston made a brief announcement about what happened today, and the president made a national address that night about this tragedy. A couple of days after the explosion, law officials found large metal pieces that believed to be a pressure cooker. They even found surveillance of the persons who made it all happen. Law enforcement were identified as 2 suspects who are brothers. On April 18th and 19th, the suspects who made the first explosion shot his brother and fled away in Watertown, Mass. To hide. Law officials told people of Watertown to stay indoors while they ordered the SWAT team to search for the suspect. In the evening, they found the suspect in a boat, covered in a pool of blood but not dead. People in Watertown went outside with their American flags waving in the air, thanking the law enforcement to put the suspect into justice. The suspect is now currently in prison, serving time and waiting trial for the future to come. And now, here's the last story that's happened very recently. In Moore, Oklahoma, an EF5 tornado appeared in the dark sky, ripping every home and property along the path. Everyone was ordered to take shelter as the tornado whipped through the neighborhood, destroying everything, including 2 elementary schools. They went on for 40 minutes before it weakened and disappeared. After that, the people in Moore went out and saw the damage that was made by the tornado. Rescue workers came and rescued victims from the rubble, including the children who were trapped when their schools collapsed under them. 24 people were killed in the tornado. The president told them that he would do everything to make sure that their lives would be back to the way it was before, and to help others before themselves, and to never give up hope. And well, that's the big story that's happened along the way. So, I'm going to say this after 4 months. So, what do you think about my webcam report? If you would like, please leave a comment down below. And I will not accept any bad comments, and I will block all trolls. So, that's it for me. I'm Lava175, aka Shanna. If you excuse me, I gotta go and get my webcam report back on track. Because I know that next month's news will be regular, and I hope it'll be better news. Well, and I hope that I won't slack off. So I'm gonna go now. See ya.